Chosen one, listen carefully. This message you about to hear. This is not about vanity. This is not about style. This is about identity. There is something about your hair that has always made people stare, judge, whisper, or feel uncomfortable. And deep down, you always knew it meant more than what the mirror shows. The unseen signal. Your hair has always been a signal, even when you did not understand it. From a young age, you felt different, and your appearance became the first thing the world tried to comment on. People projected their opinions onto you before they ever knew your heart. That was the first sign that you were never meant to blend in. A mark you did not choose. You did not wake up one day and decide to stand out. It happened naturally, without effort, without force. Your hair became a mark that separated you from the crowd. And anything that cannot be controlled by society is often targeted. Why they notice you first. Before you speak, before you move, before you explain yourself, they notice your hair. It draws attention because it carries presence. Presence exposes insecurity in others. And insecure systems always react to what they cannot dominate. The ancient memory. Across history, those who carried wisdom were often recognized by their appearance. Not because appearance gave them power, but because power reflects outward. Your hair holds memory, not magic but meaning. It represents continuity, roots, and awareness. The pressure to conform. At some point, you were encouraged to change it. Subtly or directly, the message was the same. Look more acceptable, look more normal, look less like yourself. That pressure was never about hair, it was about obedience. When you RSSTD, even when you tried to fit in, something felt wrong. You felt disconnected from yourself, as if you were dimming your own light to make others comfortable. That discomfort was your inner knowing speaking. The awakening moment. One day, you realized it was never your job to shrink. You understood that being different was not a flaw. It was confirmation. Confirmation that you carry something rare. Why suppression starts early. Chosen ones are shaped early through criticism. If they can make you doubt yourself young, they can slow your awakening. Your hair became one of the first battlefields. Not because it mattered to them, but because you mattered. The mirror test. Every time you looked at yourself, you were being tested. Would you see yourself through their eyes or your own? Would you feel shame or sovereignty? This is where identity is either lost or reclaimed. RCLMNG, your image. When you stopped apologizing for how you look, everything shifted. Your energy changed before your life did. Confidence returned, not loud but grounded. That is when alignment began. The deeper truth. Your hair is not the source of your power. It is a reflection of your refusal to be erased. It represents authenticity in a world addicted to masks. And authenticity always disrupts illusion. Why this message found you. You were meant to hear this now. Because you are stepping into visibility again. Not to seek attention, but to stand in truth. And truth cannot hide forever. The call. Do not let anyone convince you that your difference is a weakness. It is evidence of your assignment. Walk with confidence, speak with clarity, exist without apology. This is your awakening. If this message resonated with you, take action now. Like this video to anchor this truth. Comment because your voice matters. Subscribe to return to awakening and stay connected to messages meant for those who are chosen, aware, and rising. The energy people feel. People sense something before they understand it. They may not know why your presence affects them. Your hair becomes the symbol they attach that feeling to. But what they are reacting to is your awareness. Uncomfortable truths. Awakened souls carry truths without speaking them. Your silence can be louder than arguments. Your appearance reminds others of what they abandoned in themselves. That is why reactions are often emotional, not logical. Why you were misunderstood. You were never meant to be easily explained. Chosen ones confuse systems built on labels. Your hair became an easy target for misunderstanding. It was simpler than confronting your depth. The loneliness phase. There were moments you felt alone, even in crowds. Different energy creates distance before connection. You learned to walk alone before walking aligned. This was preparation, not punishment. The discipline of self-trust. You had to learn to trust yourself without validation. To stand firm when approval was withheld. Your hair reminded you daily of that choice. Stay true or stay accepted. When judgment turned into strength. Over time, the stares lost their power. The comments stopped shaking you. What once hurt began to harden your resolve. Resistance became resilience. The shift in perception. You stopped asking why they see you differently. You started asking why you ever doubted yourself. That internal shift changed everything. Outer reality always follows inner alignment. The role you play. Chosen ones are mirrors, not performers. Your existence reflects truth without effort. Your hair is part of that reflection. It tells a story without words. Why you cannot go back. Once awareness locks in, there is no return. You cannot unsee what you now understand. You were never meant to go back anyway. Forward is the only direction. The quiet power. Your power does not need announcement. It sits calmly, firmly unshaken. Your hair becomes a crown, not decoration. A reminder of who you are becoming. The separation before alignment. Before true connection comes separation. Before purpose comes clarity. Before recognition comes solitude. You are exactly where you need to be. The identity, solidifid. You no longer explain yourself. You no longer seek permission. You simply exist in truth. That is when destiny accelerates. The test continues. The world will still try to shape you. New pressures will appear in different forms. But now you recognize the pattern. Awareness is protection. The moment of ownership. This is the stage where you fully own yourself. No guilt, no hesitation, no fear. You are no longer becoming. You are being. The path ahead. What comes next requires courage and consistency. Visibility increases when alignment deepens. Your presence will open doors and close illusions. Stay grounded as you rise, the responsibility you carry. Awakening is not just awareness, it is responsibility. Once you know who you are, your choices carry more weight. Your energy influences rooms without effort. That is why discipline becomes essential. Why energy follows you. People remember how they feel around you. Even if they forget your words, the impression remains. Your presence lingers because it is real. Authenticity leaves an energetic imprint. The attempts to distract you. When suppression fails, distraction begins. Comfort, validation, and false belonging are offered. Anything to pull you away from your inner knowing. Chosen ones are tested through temptation, not force. The internal war. Some days you question your own path. Not because it was wrong, but because it was lonely. Growth often feels like loss before it feels like purpose. This phase was meant to refine you. The calm after acceptance. Once you accepted yourself fully, the noise softened. Not because the world changed, but because you stopped reacting. Inner peace became your shield. Why you attract attention without trying. Alignment is noticeable. You do not seek validation, and that confuses people. Your certainty unsettles those built on doubt. That is the quiet authority you carry. The difference between ego and truth. Ego demands to be seen. Truth simply exists. Your power does not announce itself. It reveals itself through consistency. The lesson of patience. Not everything unfolds at once. Chosen ones learn timing through waiting. Rushing disrupts alignment. Trust sharpens vision. The recognition phase. One by one, things start to make sense. Past pain reveals its purpose. Rejection shows its protection. Nothing was wasted. The strength of silence. You learned when to speak and when to observe. Silence became wisdom, not fear. Listening showed you more than arguing ever could. Awareness deepened. The shift in connections. Some people naturally fell away. Others appeared without explanation. Energy aligns before logic does. This is natural law. The stability within. Your sense of self is no longer fragile. External opinions do not define you. You move with certainty. Grounded, not rigid. The inner authority. You no longer look outside for direction. Your intuition leads clearly now. Decisions feel lighter, clearer. That is mastery beginning. The preparation stage. What you are becoming requires strength. Visibility increases responsibility. Influence demands integrity. You are being prepared, not delayed. The knowing. Deep inside, you already know. You feel the shift approaching. You sense alignment locking in. This is not imagination, the moment before expansion. Right before growth, things slow down. Silence becomes deeper. Patience is tested one last time. This is the pause before momentum. Why stillness feels heavy. Stillness forces reflection. It removes distraction. You are left with truth alone. And truth reshapes identity. The final shedding. Old habits no longer fit. Old roles feel uncomfortable. You cannot carry outdated versions forward. Release becomes necessary. The courage to stand alone. Even now, you may feel separated. Not abandoned, but set apart. Strength is built in solitude. Leadership is forged here. The difference people notice. Without changing anything, reactions shift. Respect replaces curiosity. Energy recognizes energy. Your presence has matured. The alignment of action. Your words and actions now match. There is no inner conflict. Consistency amplifies power. This is integrity in motion. Why you feel called to more. Comfort can no longer contain you. You feel drawn toward impact. Not fame, not noise, but meaning. This is purpose activating. The inner fire. It burns quietly but steadily. No rush, no doubt. Just certainty. This fire sustains you. The AWAKNED perception. You see through illusions faster now. Patterns reveal themselves. Truth feels obvious. Awareness has sharpened. The space you hold. Others feel safe around you. Not because you fix them, but because you are grounded. Presence heals without effort. The role of consistency. Small daily choices matter. Alignment is maintained, not claimed. Consistency protects momentum. This is long-term power. The detachment from OUTCOMES. You do the work without attachment. You trust the process. Control dissolves. Flow replaces force. The respect for the journey. You no longer rush milestones. You honor each phase. Growth is no longer rushed. Wisdom has taken root. The quiet confidence. There is no need to prove. No need to explain. Your energy speaks. That is enough. The approaching shift. You feel it in moments of silence. A subtle readiness. A sense of arrival forming. Something is aligning, the invisible preparation. Much of your growth happened where no one was watching. Quiet decisions, private discipline, internal battles. This unseen work is what makes the visible phase sustainable. Foundations are built in silence. Why your journey looked different. Your path never followed the crowd. Shortcuts never appealed to you. You learned through experience, not imitation. That is why your wisdom feels earned. The weight of awareness. Knowing more means carrying more. You feel deeper, notice more, process longer. This sensitivity is not weakness. It is perception refined. The temptation to dim yourself. There were moments you considered shrinking again. Not because you forgot who you are, but because standing fully seen requires courage. You chose truth anyway. The shift from seeking to being. You no longer chase answers. You embody them. Questions dissolve as clarity settles. This is embodiment, not theory. The recognition without words. Some people understand you instantly. No explanations needed. Energy speaks before language. This is soul-level recognition. The strength of self-respect. You guard your energy now. Not out of fear, but wisdom. Access is earned, not given. Boundaries became self-love. The end of self-doubt. Doubt no longer controls your choices. It may appear, but it does not lead. Trust has taken its place. Inner alignment has stabilized. The natural authority. You do not command attention. It comes naturally. Certainty creates gravity. People feel it before they understand it. The balance you learned. You know when to move and when to wait. When to speak and when to remain silent. This balance was learned through mistakes. And that is why it holds. The deep ROTING. Your identity is no longer surface level. It is anchored. Nothing external can uproot it. You are grounded in who you are. The shift in desire. You no longer crave validation. You crave alignment. Peace over applause. Depth over noise. The stability before impact. Before influence expands, stability must be secured. You have reached that stage. Strong enough to stand. Calm enough to lead. The feeling you cannot ignore. There's a quiet certainty growing. A knowing without urgency. You are not late. You are aligned. The threshold. You are standing at a threshold now. Not the end, not the beginning. But the crossing. Awareness is fully awake, the crossing point. Once you cross, there is no confusion left. Only responsibility and direction. The noise fades. Purpose becomes clearer. The discipline of consistency. You realize motivation was never enough. Daily alignment is what sustains growth. Small choices shape large outcomes. This is mastery in practice. The release of old identities. Versions of you fall away naturally. No force, no regret. They served their time. Now you move lighter. The internal order. Chaos no longer lives inside you. Thoughts are clearer. Emotions are processed, not suppressed. Inner order creates outer stability. The confidence to be seen. Visibility no longer feels threatening. You trust yourself enough to be witnessed. Authenticity replaces performance. This is freedom. The role of humility. True power remains humble. You do not seek dominance. You seek truth. That is why your influence lasts. The end of proving. You are no longer trying to convince anyone. Those meant to understand will. Those who do not are not required. Peace replaces persuasion. The expansion of impact. Your presence affects more than you realize. Words land deeper. Energy travels further. Responsibility expands with awareness. The strength of stillness. Even in movement, you remain calm. You respond, not react. This stillness is strength. It anchors you. The trust in timing. You stop questioning when. You focus on how you show up. Timing aligns itself. Trust sharpens patience. The internal leadership. You lead yourself first. No external authority overrides your values. Integrity guides action. This is true leadership. The clarity of direction. Distractions lose their appeal. Your path feels singular, focused, unshakable. The embodied presence. You do not talk about growth. You live it. People sense it immediately. Embodiment completes the journey. The quiet moment before reveal. Everything feels calm yet charged, as if something is about to unfold. You are ready, and you know it. The final alignment. Nothing feels forced anymore. Everything flows naturally. You are exactly where you need to be. This is alignment in full, the stabilization phase. After alignment comes stabilization. Power is grounded, not rushed. You learn to hold what you carry. This prevents collapse under growth. The awareness of influence. You begin to notice how small actions ripple outward. Words land differently now. Silence teaches more than speech. Influence becomes intentional. The maturity of energy. Your energy no longer spikes or crashes. It remains steady. Consistency replaces intensity. This is sustainable strength. The difference between attention and impact. Attention fades quickly. Impact stays. You choose depth over display. That choice defines legacy. The sharpening of discernment. Not everything deserves your time. Not everyone deserves access. Discernment protects purpose. This wisdom was earned. The inner still point. No matter what happens externally, you return to center. You are not pulled easily. Balance is maintained. This is emotional sovereignty. The detachment from validation. Praise no longer inflates you. Criticism no longer deflates you. Both pass through without attachment. Self-definition is complete. The role of service. Awakening naturally turns outward. Not to save, but to serve. Presence becomes contribution. This is purpose in motion. The responsibility of clarity. You cannot pretend ignorance anymore. You see patterns clearly. Your choices must match your knowing. Integrity becomes non-negotiable. The quiet leadership. You lead without announcement. By example, not force. Consistency builds trust. Trust creates followership. The strength of ROTD identity. Your sense of self is no longer fragile. It does not depend on environment. You remain grounded anywhere. Roots run deep. The internal peace. Peace is no longer a moment. It is a state. You return to it naturally. This is mastery of self. The awareness of momentum. Things begin to move subtly. Doors open without struggle. Resistance fades. Momentum aligns with purpose. The calm certainty. There is no rush. No anxiety. Only knowing. You trust what is unfolding. The space before expression. You feel something preparing to emerge. Not forced. Not rushed. Simply ready, the deepening of purpose. What once felt abstract now feels specific. Your role becomes clearer through experience. Purpose stops being an idea and becomes action. This is embodiment taking form. The quiet refinement. You refine habits without announcing change. Small adjustments create powerful shifts. Discipline becomes natural. Alignment sharpens through repetition. The internal checkpoint. You pause more often now. Not from fear but awareness. You measure choices against truth. Integrity becomes instinct. The loss of urgency. You no longer rush outcomes. You trust the process fully. Urgency dissolves into patience. Timing feels cooperative. The emotional mastery. Emotions no longer control direction. They inform, not dictate. You feel deeply without drowning. This balance took time. The clarity of intention. You move with intention now. Every action has purpose. Distractions fall away easily. Focus becomes natural. The return to simplicity. Complexity fades. Truth feels simple again. You value clarity over chaos. Simplicity becomes power. The recognition of symbolizes. You understand seasons now. Growth, rest, action, integration. Nothing feels permanent or threatening. Awareness creates calm. The confidence in silence. You are comfortable not explaining. Silence holds strength. Not everything needs translation. Presence communicates enough. The alignment of mind and heart. Thoughts and feelings no longer clash. They work together. Inner conflict dissolves. Decision-making becomes clear. The embodied truth. You do not repeat lessons. You live them. Your life reflects understanding. This is wisdom activated. The gentle expansion. Growth no longer feels intense. It feels steady, natural, sustainable. The inner anchor. No matter where you are centered. External shifts do not destabilize you. You return to self easily. This is grounding complete. The awareness of readiness. You feel ready without anticipation. No tension. No doubt. Just quiet readiness. The pause before movement. Everything feels still again. Not empty. Full. Waiting to move, the internal signal. You begin to sense guidance without effort. No overthinking. No second guessing. Clarity arrives calmly. The trust in self-leadership. You no longer look for confirmation outside. Your inner compass is reliable now. Decisions feel grounded. Self-trust is solid. The evolution of confidence. Confidence is no longer loud. It is quiet and unshakable. Rooted in knowing, not proving. This is mature power. The release of comparison. You stop measuring your path against others. Their timelines no longer distract you. Your journey feels complete on its own. Comparison dissolves naturally. The depth of presence. You are fully where you are. No mental drifting. No emotional fragmentation. Presence becomes natural. The acceptance of visibility. Being seen no longer threatens you. You remain yourself regardless of eyes watching. Authenticity stays intact. This is freedom embodied. The inner alignment loop. Action reinforces belief. Belief reinforces action. Momentum builds quietly. This loop sustains growth. The recognition of responsibility. You understand your influence now. Not as pressure, but as stewardship. Awareness carries duty. The end of inner resistance. You stop fighting who you are. Acceptance settles in fully. Energy stops leaking. Power consolidates. the stillness that guides. Silence begins to guide decisions. Not confusion, but clarity. Stillness becomes instruction. The honoring of self. You respect your limits. You protect your energy. Self-honor replaces self-neglect. This is maturity. The natural flow of action. You act without force. Effort feels aligned. Resistance is minimal. Flow replaces struggle. The integration phase. Everything you learned integrates. Nothing feels separate anymore. Lessons live inside you. Wholeness forms. The sense of completeness. Not finished, but complete in this phase. Nothing missing. Nothing rushed. The quiet builds you. Something is forming beneath the surface. Not visible yet, but undeniable. Movement is near, the internal expansion. Your awareness continues to widen quietly. You notice more without becoming overwhelmed. Understanding deepens without effort. This is consciousness stabilizing. The strength of ROOTED calm. No situation easily shakes you now. You remain steady under pressure. Calm becomes your default state. This calm is earned. The shift from doing to being. You no longer force action. You allow action to emerge. Being leads doing now. This changes everything. Truth feels immediate. You sense alignment instantly. There is no confusion. Knowing replaces questioning. The weight of authenticity. Being real carries weight. Not heaviness but gravity. People feel it when you enter spaces. Authenticity is unmistakable. The end of external noise. Opinions fade into background sound. They no longer guide direction. Your inner voice is louder now. Focus sharpens naturally. The internal order maintained. Thoughts stay organized. Emotions stay processed. Energy stays clean. This order protects expansion. The confidence in pause. You are no longer afraid of stillness. Pauses feel productive. Silence feels full. Waiting becomes wisdom. The stability of identity. Who you are does not fluctuate. Environments do not define you. Consistency anchors you. Identity is settled. The natural authority of presence. You do not assert yourself. Your presence sets tone. Others adjust naturally. This is embodied leadership. The flow of ALIGNEDDCSINS. Choices come easier now. Less conflict. Less hesitation. Alignment simplifies everything. The protection of energy. You instinctively avoid what drains you. Not through fear. Through awareness. Energy preservation becomes natural. The deepening connection to self. You spend more time within. Not escaping. Listening. Self-connection strengthens. The momentum under stillness. Even in quiet, things are moving. Preparation continues unseen. Foundations strengthen. Momentum builds beneath calm. The sense of approach. You feel something nearing. Not sudden. Not forced. Inevitable, the internal readiness. You no longer question if you are prepared. Preparation has already happened. Experience shaped you quietly. Readiness feels natural now. The maturity of awareness. You understand without overanalyzing. Wisdom has replaced urgency. You see layers others miss. Depth has become normal. The steady heart. Your heart no longer races at uncertainty. It stays calm in the unknown. Trust anchors emotion. Stability lives within you. The silent CONFRMATUNS. Signs no longer shock you. They confirm what you already know. Alignment speaks softly now. Recognition replaces surprise. The freedom from explanation. You release the need to justify yourself. Understanding yourself is enough. Those aligned will feel it. Those who are not no longer matter. The embodied patience. Patience is no longer effort. It flows naturally. You allow timing to reveal itself. Trust deepens through waiting. The internal balance held. You balance action and rest instinctively. No extremes pull you. Moderation sustains power. Balance becomes strength. The respect for process. You honor how far you have come. You do not minimize growth. You recognize transformation. Self-respect stabilizes progress. The depth of grounding. Your roots feel deep and strong. External storms do not shake you. Grounding keeps you steady. Security comes from within. The quiet confirmation. Nothing feels rushed. Nothing feels delayed. Everything feels placed. You trust the unfolding. The alignment of inner and outer. Your inner world matches your outer actions. There is no split. No contradiction. Wholeness stabilizes presence. The strength of clarity. Clarity removes fear. Direction feels simple. You know what matters. Focus sharpens naturally. The energy of certainty. Certainty does not shout. It hums quietly. It stays steady. This energy sustains you. The space before manifestation. There is a pause you recognize now. Not empty. Charged. Ready. The threshold held. You are standing exactly where preparation meets movement. Nothing more to prove. Nothing missing. Only awareness holding steady. Now listen closely. If this message reached you, it was not by accident. You are not watching this to be entertained. You are here to remember who you are. Do not ignore what is awakening inside you. Stand fully in your truth without shrinking. Honor your difference, your presence, your calling. This is the moment to choose yourself completely. If this message spoke directly to your soul, anchor it. Like this video, so this truth spreads to those who are ready. Comment below and declare that you recognize your awakening. Subscribe to return to awakening and stay connected to messages meant only for those who are chosen, aligned, and rising.